That's cool. Shit,
You know what, it isn't cool. It's stupid because I really should know. Okay, start all over again. I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
cool.
Now it's on.
Okay, cool. So this is really a strange, what they call full circle. I'm in Seattle.
Coming here to Seattle.
I'm in Seattle 2010. I came here in 1976, and I was planning on picking apples in Spokane. I missed the season there. Had no money. I had a truck that was eating like 8 miles to a gallon. I ended up just about a mile from the airport here.
Right.
And started building homes. And it was a real shitty job. And
were you union?
No, not at that time. I was just scrapping for work, and
right.
I came here and I had to work in the rain. I wasn't used to that. It's like, when are we going home? At lunch the first day, and they started
right.
laughing at me. I said, if you don't work in the rain around here, you don't work.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
oh shit, where did I come? Here I am, broke, hungry. I ate peanut butter for the first month, and Kool-Aid. That was my big thrill, was Kool-Aid. And no sugar in the Kool-Aid. It was fun. But anyway, I ended up at the Pike Place Market and got hired into the Carpenters 131. And I worked there for 10 years, but I was in the market for 4 years.
Yeah.
I did the whole renovation of the Pike Place Market. It was a great experience because down there with all the vendors and being there at dawn when the market opened up and stuff. But there was this little diner on First Avenue that opened at 5:45. So I would go down there sometimes, and they had like $1 you could get bacon and eggs and some really strong coffee. So I would go down there, but also the other people that were going down there was Danny Danzel.
Okay.
And he would be down there, and he'd be there for lunch. Sometimes I wouldn't pack a lunch, and I'd go over there, and they had like a $2 plate.
Did you know he was a tattoo artist?
Yes, yeah, he was obviously a tattoo artist because his tattoos were peeking out. But he always used to paint these white shirts. He would get these white shirts, and he would do flash on the back of them, and kind of in a horizontal pattern across his shoulders. And I had the Seattle Tattoo Emporium on it, and those were beautiful shirts.
Advertising his shop.
Yeah, and he always had different ones. He would make one, and he'd wash it a few times, and then he would make another one. And then coincidentally, I'd be up high on the roofs and stuff working, and sometimes I could look over and see the guys walking back and forth to the tattoo shop. And in the end, I ended up remodeling both those shops. There was 2 of them there on First Avenue, right south of where you drive into the market. But it was a big influence on me into getting tattooed because it was such a mysterious lifestyle. And I had tattoos before, and I was real interested. I got those in Cincinnati, so I already had my foot in the door, had a few tattoos. But just watching this cool cat with that fedora hat and the painted shirts, and he was just different.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like your normal yuppie or your normal Carhartt type guy running around.
So did you meet him, and do you have a relationship with him at all?
No, I just got to watch him for 10 years. You know, I just watched him, and I watched the people that worked there, and there was Zeke was around then, Madame Lazanga was around, Greg Irons was around, so I crossed paths with these people and not really know too much about him.
And you weren't a tattoo artist?
No, I wasn't a tattoo artist. I was a union carpenter for 10 years.
And when did you start tattooing?
When I moved down to California, I realized I wasn't going to be able to keep the scale of pay and the level of profession that I was used to. I was used to a top tier profession, and I didn't want to go backwards to what I call shack building houses. I just didn't want to go frame houses for somebody for nothing. So I thought, well, I'm going to try a different profession, and I wanted to be an artist. And I thought, well, stained glass, I've done some of that. There's too many people doing stained glass. There's too many people doing oil paintings of seagulls. There's this and that. And I thought, shit, man, I'm going to be a tattoo artist. So I went down in the corner. Now, Danny had already moved up to Pill Hill, which is Capitol Hill by the hospitals. And I think the tattoo shop was American Tattooing. I'm not sure, because I don't remember the sign, but I went in there and talked to a fellow there. Was a long-haired biker with white hair, and I told him I wanted to become a tattoo artist, and he started laughing at me and saying, like, there's a lot more to it than you see here. And I go, well, you know, I like challenges and shit. And I said, how do you do it? And he says, well, you throw money down and take an apprenticeship. I said, no problem. So I said, I'm moving down to Fort Bragg, and coincidentally, Bert had just been working up there with Danny Dansel.
Yeah, Bert Grimm.
Bert Rodriguez.
Bert Rodriguez.
Yeah,
okay.
him and Pete Stevens were roommates, and Pete worked with Danny. And so he said, well, if you want to, the closest one to you is in Santa Rosa, it's Bert Rodriguez.
Yeah, right.
So I moved down there, and I got settled in, and I was asking some of the locals where they got their tattoos, and Bert Rodriguez's name came up again. So I went down and took an apprenticeship from him, and it was really fun because it was all no bullshit. It was a handshake and cash on the barrelhead.
Yeah.
Of course, I didn't have all the cash,
Yeah.
but I laid a nice chunk of change out there for it, and I liked what Bert said. He said, just because you paid me this money doesn't mean that I can't throw your ass out of here.
Yeah.
And if you're going out through that plate glass window.
Yeah. So how long did you apprentice with?
I consider myself still an apprentice with Bert, but I did a real hardcore apprenticeship for like a year.
And then you started tattooing
And I
professionally.
started tattooing on my own with permission because I lived a couple hours away.
Yeah.
I started building a small guinea pig sort of clientele, friends and stuff, which you need to do.
Yeah.
And you don't want to tattoo a lot of people when you're early in your career. You want to just
Yeah.
tattoo a few people so you can go back and tidy up those things and
How
not
old-
have a bunch of shitty work out there.
How old were you when you?
I started when I was 36 years old.
And you've been tattooing how long?
I've been tattooing 24 years.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
it
And
was
how's it
fun.
going?
It's hard. It's fun. But it wasn't the job that I thought I was getting into. I thought it was a semi-retirement, big cash. And the first few years I starved to death. I mean, we were living lean the first few years. It just wasn't popular yet. That's in the mid-'80s, so it was very lean. And I did carpentry on the side, so that's where my working hours came from. Is I started in the morning, 6:30 or 7, I'd go do a construction, go wash up at noon, and start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was very rewarding because yeah.
You know, just wrap it up here.
Okay, so then I was in the black the first week.
Yeah.
I paid for my cabinets. I mean, when I opened my shop, I didn't go all out. I just bought some cheap plywood and some Formica and painted my own sign. And I was in the black the first week. It was
Fabulous.
great.
Fabulous story.
It's hard to tell a short story.